welcome to episode 15 of the Patchman Hockey Show. We're the Patchmen. I'm Jimmy and that's Johnny, and on this show we look at NHL patches and teach you the hockey history behind the patch. Every patch has a story, and this week we're talking about...
Yeah, we're talking about the New York Rangers' 85th anniversary season and their anniversary patch.
Yep.
This is a pretty cool patch. You have, what would you call this, like a crest? The Rangers crest.
Shield.
Rangers shield.
Okay.
With the big 85 in there, 85th anniversary. Rangers established in 1926, one of the original 6 teams. Pretty cool patch. You know, I like it a lot. I like it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. It's traditional.
That's the word. Yep, it is. Traditional.
And it really fits into their uniform. So as you can see with the patch, they wore it on their right shoulder. We'll get to more about the other jersey soon. But what do you think?
I actually really like it, and this is coming from a Devils fan. I think you really nailed it. It's traditional first and foremost. The ribbon, we talked about ribbons. Ribbons are like sentimental, brings out emotion. It's heritage, I guess, in a way, commemorative. Anything commemorative usually has like a ribbon to it. But it's simple. You got the Rangers logo. 85 years at this point. I mean, now it's almost 100 years. But looking back on this season, the Rangers, they have a timeless logo. I'll say that. They have a timeless. It's a shield. The Rangers logo is a shield, and then they put the 85 tied all together in another shield. And then for the NHL, the NHL crest is a shield. So it's very similar.
Like the Patchman hockey logo.
Well, it's a puck, but yeah. We should make a Patchman hockey shield.
That's a great idea.
There we go. That's
Copyright.
That's it. I really like it. It's super clean, and actually, there's 2 variations of this patch, but one was a patch, and the other was more of a logo. As you can see here, the Rangers had the 85th anniversary logo, more of a round logo on their center ice. They really could have done the shield on the center ice, like they do for the Rangers logo, right? They could have done that.
I thought they could have too. Also, what they didn't put the year on it. You know, like I didn't say it before, but this is the 2010-2011 season.
Yes, it is. Right, they could have done that. Yeah.
So I guess you could do the math, but for some people like me,
26 plus 85.
Doing calculations.
TI 83, no games.
Playing drug dealer on my my calculator.
But yeah, so anyway, so the Rangers, they would finish the season with a winning record, 44 wins, 33 losses, and 5 overtime losses, or shootout losses, I'm sorry. So let's talk about the jersey here, because that's pretty important.
The heritage jersey?
So for the 85th season, they had a special jersey come out, and they released this in November, actually on November 12th, 2010. They did this event at Rockefeller Center, which is really cool. One thing about the Rangers, I'll give them a lot of credit, and they're also in a much bigger city than the Devils. They really do things, and they do it out in the city. Like, they go out to these events, and they showcase their players, they showcase what's going on with the team in the patch. And there's pictures online. I didn't have any pictures here, but there's pictures online of the event. But you have Hank up here, and what a good-looking guy this is, huh?
Oh, dreamy. That flow right there?
That flow, I mean, come on. Like, what a good-looking hockey player. But they have like more of a darker blue, almost like a Columbus Blue Jacket blue, where they have New York diagonal, and instead of like the Rangers, and this would not be the first time that they have New York diagonal like that. Very simple. Rangers, another thing that they do, they always keep their jerseys clean, very basic, no frills, traditional, very traditional. But yeah, overall a great look. I love with the patches on the shoulder. They probably, with the Rangers, they couldn't do it on the right part of the chest because you have the N or you have the R, depending on.
Are those the edge jerseys too?
Yeah.
So you got the weird piping.
Oh yeah, you can see the piping even on that image. Yeah. Yeah. But at least the Rangers, some of these teams actually, regardless of the Reebok edge, they still kept it traditional as best they could. I just hate the taper look.
It's like the Oilers jersey. Like, I hate that. Like the piping with the edge jersey, and they made it all futuristic. Like, they should have just did what the Rangers did.
Yeah.
Keep it more traditional looking.
I completely agree. I think the whole Reebok thing was a disaster.
So these jerseys too, they would wear them when they played original six teams.
I didn't know that. Oh,
yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, so they would do that for, and I think it was on Sunday games as well was the plan, but I think that got dropped. And I don't even know. I think what I read was the plan originally, so they would wear these jerseys when they played original six teams, and I don't think that's the case anymore. But regardless, awesome jersey.
Awesome jersey, awesome patch, and
look at the flop on those tongues, skate tongues.
I've always wondered, how did they do that? Like, I guess they just.
You would have to just pull it out, and you can't do them on skates
Mine
now.
are so stiff.
Yeah, but the old
pumps.
ones, yeah.
That's those are, I guess,
Reeboks, I think.
The
Yeah.
pumps. Yeah. This is we're looking at Ryan Callahan over here. I know you can't see it if you're listening to it on the podcast, but great center ice picture too. Rangers had a good team this season, and
made the playoffs.
Yeah, they made the playoffs, and again, for the second consecutive season in a row, it came down to the last game of the season, their playoff hopes. They defeated the Devils 5-2 on April 9th, 2011, but they got nervous because they had to wait for the result of the Hurricanes versus Lightning game that night, and the Lightning defeated the Hurricanes, which secured the Rangers' playoff spot. And both the Islanders and Devils missed the 2011 playoffs. And
that's the worst, having your fate in someone else's hands.
Right.
You know, that has no interest in whether you should make the playoffs or not.
Yeah, it's funny how the season plays out in different teams and like their progress and how it affects other teams. Not directly, but just indirectly. So they would make the playoffs, but they would have a short run in the playoffs where they were defeated by the number one seeded Washington Capitals in the first round. They would lose 4-1.
Yep.
I guess a couple notes maybe to touch upon. GM Glenn Sather, coached by John Tortorella.
Torts.
This guy. I kind of miss having Torts in the New York metropolitan area. Like,
he's got the attitude to be a coach up here.
Oh, for sure.
You know?
And I think he's actually from Massachusetts, I think he's from. But, he is from Massachusetts because he does have a New England accent. But he's got such an attitude for this area, especially in 2012 when the Devils and Rangers met in the playoffs. Like, what a time in the conference finals, I'm sorry. What a time to be alive, really. And then the captain was Chris Drury. Chris Drury is now, I think he's the general manager of the Rangers, recently promoted, or he's the president, one or the other. Alternate captains were Ryan Callahan and Mark Stahl. Ryan Callahan would actually go on to be the next captain of the Rangers, Captain Callie.
3 Rangers played in the All-Star game this year. Mark Stahl, Hank, and who else? Derek Stepan played in the skills competition. So, yeah, I mean.
Another tidbit we had here when we're looking back at the season, when we do our research, especially for these commemorative patches that they wear throughout the season, April 4th, 2011, Rangers beat the Boston Bruins 5-3 after trailing the game 3-0. And according to the Versus broadcaster, remember, this was before NBC Sports, it was Versus, which is like...
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, the NHL, like...
Oh, wow. That is going back. Wow, okay.
And Versus was Outdoor Life Network.
Flashback to 2011.
Yeah, it was so weird, like the whole TV deal with the NHL. Thank God they're going back to ESPN and TNT, right? We're excited about that. The promo is sick if you haven't seen it.
It's good. It's a really good one.
It's like Gary Thorne and Bill Clement voiceovers, like Alexander Ovechkin and like Nathan McKinnon. It's sick. Look it up. But so this stat was this was the first time in franchise history that the Rangers were able to overcome a 3-0 deficit to the Boston Bruins to win the game. The two teams had played each other 624 times since 1926.
Oh my God.
I mean, now that's got to be close to 700. Or, well, if you think about it,
They should do something for the thousandth game.
Yeah,
That's 10 years prime.
That's pretty wild. I love old stats. Like, I love random stats like that. Like, these obscure stats that, like, who thought about that before? But, or how'd you dig that number up? But it's cool. And then the Rangers tied the Bruins, actually, for the most shutouts that season with 11. What else?
Yeah, Dubinsky led the team in goals with 24 and assists with 30, total of 54 points. So he led, 77 games, 54 total points.
Yeah.
Fedotenko 25. Sean Avery with 174 penalty minutes, which I thought was freaking funny.
Rangers actually had a great team on paper. I mean, this was like the makings of the 2012 team to the Eastern Conference Finals and also the 2014 team that went to the Stanley Cup Finals but would lose against the Kings in 5 games. Brandon Dubinsky, Marian Gaborik. Remember Gaborik? He was so sick on the Wild. He was like the Wild's first star player. Ryan Callahan, Brian Boyle. The toughness, Brandon Prost and Sean Avery.
Yeah, even Girardi, Daniel Girardi.
Yep.
Fedotenko, they were good players.
For sure, yeah, absolutely. And you had some Tampa Bay players, too. Fedotenko won the Cup with Torts. Vaclav Prospal, he was another one that won it with Torts.
Was Frolov on Lightning?
No, he was a longtime LA King.
King, yes, that's what I was thinking about.
What's interesting, I thought Alexander Frolov, and I'm glad you brought this up because I wanted to touch upon him. He was really sick in the late 2000s with the Kings. He would go to the Rangers, have a mediocre season. Well, I think he was also hurt, and that was it. This was his last season in the NHL. I thought he played for 15 seasons, but no, but he didn't. But it's a shame because he really was a solid player. Derek Bugard, rest in peace. The Boogeyman. I'm sorry.
The Boogie Monster.
Boogie Monster. The Boogeyman, the big tough guy fighter. Fortunately, he died. Not this season, but he died a few years later. But
that's true.
But no, they had on paper Ryan McDonough on D, solid defenseman. It's funny how if you look back at the Scotty Gomez trade with the Rangers, they sent Gomez to the Canadiens. And they got Ryan McDonough back and somebody else. Oh my God, did that trade work out? Tremendously for the Rangers. McDonough just turned into such a solid defenseman. Actually, I think he became a captain as well. But yeah, Matt Zuccarello. I remember watching Zuccarello, and this guy was so freaking fast on the ice. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Short guy, too.
And he's still playing. Right now, he's in the playoffs with the Minnesota Wild. So unless by the time this episode drops, the Wild are eliminated from the playoffs. But we'll see. See if they beat the Golden Knights.
So, unrelated, but
yes.
It's got to do with Zook. I was watching the warm-ups for the Wild, and it was a clip on YouTube about some weird warm-up things that they do.
Yeah.
And I forget who it was, Zuccarello and somebody else, but they were passing the puck 2 feet away from each other and doing it all the way to the blue line.
Oh, I saw that.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Wasn't that cool?
Yeah, it's give and go, close distance.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then there's one guy in the Avs, he slides halfway through the ice, hits the other guy, and they do that every game. So.
Yeah, there's some funny stuff with the warm-ups that teams do, players do. Very creative. But overall, at least a winning season for the Rangers in the books. Obviously, they didn't get that far in the playoffs. But they would build. This was actually a big stepping stone for them going into 2012 and 2014, like I was saying. So, great patch. Love the patch. Love the 85. And also, too, I just want to talk about the cream, the off-white cream color. I think I love that, nod to, the past. It's a vintage color. And you don't really see that anymore.
No, you don't.
And they don't have this in the patch, though. The patch is just strictly white, gray around the perimeter. So, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome patch. Love it. 85th anniversary. I don't know how many teams have an 85th anniversary. Not many. I think the Rangers might be the only one. Maybe Boston, maybe Chicago has one.
Yeah, it would be the original 6 teams, probably.
Yeah, for sure. So really cool to see an 85th anniversary patch.
And we're gonna be getting 100 soon too. So
Yeah. Oh yeah. We have a 100 NHL
5 years.
patch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 5 years.
But for the
Yeah.
original 6 teams, yeah, for sure. But yeah, anything else?
No, I think that's it. You know, this is one of my favorite patches. But otherwise, you know, keep checking us out. You know, we'll keep pumping out these patch shows. We have a lot of patches that we want to cover. There's always gonna be a patch we want to cover.
Actually, I forgot the patch. I forgot the actual
Oh,
patch.
that's funny.
Ha!
But
That's okay.
yeah, well, we have this patch.
We do.
Yeah. Trust us.
Yeah, we do.
We'll show you on the next episode.
We have.
But yeah, keep following us on Instagram, Twitter.
Reviews, please. Leave us reviews. Rate us on the Apple Store.
Yeah, definitely comment and like us on
It
YouTube.
helps.
That would help a lot. And you know, give us feedback. Email us. You know, at PatchmanHockey.
PatchmanHockey@gmail.com.
Yep, I'm John. That's Jimmy. Thanks again.
Thanks a lot, guys.